Welcome to the Just Being Petty Show. I am A.W. Petty, your host. Please like and subscribe and help us. You and I grow this channel together. It really means a lot, and I appreciate each and every one of you and your support. So I'm going to go into what the criminal in chief is up to now. He's going back to his playbook, and he's going back to what he knows best, lying about the 2020 election and what his plans are to do, because he just put a subpoena out against the Fulton County election workers. He wants all of their personal information, and he's got his DOJ involved. And so I'm going to go over what happened in 2020, and I'm going to bring us up to date of what he's doing now, and he's going back into his bag of tricks. I mean, this guy is a criminal. This guy, along with the Republican Party, are criminal and crooks. And he has a criminal Supreme Court justice. He's got criminal judges in the lower courts. And if this guy gets away with this, and the courts allow him to take these people's personal information, then we're in a lot of trouble. Because I believe it's just to intimidate these workers so they don't show up to work, so they have less people working. And he wants to intimidate everybody who's voting. He wants to intimidate the voters. He wants to intimidate the people that are working in the voting centers. This is what he wants to do. And we, as a country, as Americans, cannot allow this to happen. It's a tough road ahead because the Supreme Court is crooked. These lower courts are crooked, these judges. And if they allow this to happen, in my opinion, this guy is going to not leave office. If this happens, he won't leave office. And everything that I've seen from the Supreme Court justice as far as precedent, in terms of Roe v. Wade, in terms of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, that was precedent, and they went against that. They went against it. So anything's possible, but we have to fight this as Americans that believe in democracy. We have to fight this. It seems like an uphill battle, but we have to fight this with everything that we have inside of us. Because if he gets away with this, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And like I said, I believe that he will not leave the office. And who do we have that's going to make him leave? The Supreme Court won't do it. Because think about it. It's in the Constitution. In my opinion, they don't care about the Constitution. All they care about is power and their donors that are giving them money. So we have to buckle down. We have to put our feet in the sand, and we have to move forward to try to save our democracy. It's going to be hard, but we have to do that. So I'm going to go back and go over what happened in 2020 and then bring us up to date on what he's trying in April in 2026. So after the 2020 election, then President Donald Trump, as well as Republican politicians and voters supporting him, were unsuccessful in more than 60 lawsuits across multiple states challenging the election results. They made unsupported claims that absentee votes should be discarded, that election fraud skewed results, and that voting machines malfunctioned, which were all freaking lies. Despite courts repeatedly protecting citizens' votes and finding no evidence of fraud, Trump has said he's likely to challenge the results again should he lose a presidential contest. And see, that's another part of this whole deal. Just think about it. When they win, it's no fraud. Think about it. When they win elections, it's nobody's talking about fraud. It's only when they lose. And that in itself is madness to me. And again, you hear Democrats talk about this a little bit. These issues and these topics should be pushed all the time. It should be brought up all the time. I never hear them say when they get into a debate, but when you guys win, you don't complain. The only time you complain is when you lose. That is what has to happen. State courts are often the venue for election-related challenges, even those related to federal races, because states oversee their elections, including setting most rules and procedures. Lawsuits filed in multiple battleground states in the days after the 2020 election, including Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Nevada, hint at the types of cases Trump and his supporters could file this month. We're talking about this month, April, it started, so we're talking about 26. The dozens of lawsuits states courts handled in the lead up to this election provides insight as well. So in 2026, the Justice Department filed a subpoena in April to try to force the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections to release the names, addresses, and contact information for 2020 election staff members and volunteers. The grand jury subpoena was made public Monday as the Fulton County Board urged the judge to quash it. This is reported by the New York Times. See, this is what I'm saying. These guys are such criminals, and they think they can intimidate people. But in reality, these people are cowards when you push back on them. But the problem is, we have a crooked Supreme Court. We have a crooked lower court with judges that are crooked, that don't follow the law, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV. But that's my opinion. And the Supreme Court is conservative judges is the main reason we're in this spot. It's a couple of others, but if they had not given this guy immunity, they had not given him immunity, we would not be in this position. Although he's such a moron, who knows, he may have still tried this. Because this guy has gotten away with everything his whole life. So who's to say? But we would have had a better chance if they had not given this guy immunity. So NBC has reached out to the Justice Department, but they didn't get any comment. Of course they did. When you're a crook and you're doing crooked things, you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to get caught up. The subpoena marks an expanded effort by the Justice Department to investigate the 2020 election. What are we talking about? That's 6 years ago. You've become president again. This is insane, people. This is freaking insane. But it's all leading up for them to try to steal the midterms. Period. That's what it's about. Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts said that the federal government once again is attempting to misuse criminal process. This is yet another act of outrageous federal overreach designed to intimidate, that's what I was saying, and to chill participation in elections. They're trying to make people scared to go out and vote. They're trying to make people scared to be election workers. But we have to get mad, and we have to stand up to this authoritarian type regime, and we have the numbers. We just have to have the courage to do this. Period. So this harassment should not be allowed, so we have asked the courts to act. I will always stand up for our election workers and for the truth. And that was from Rob Pitts. In Monday's motion to quash the grand jury subpoena, the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections said the subpoena came out of the Justice Department's latest effort to target and harass the president's perceived political enemies. This guy just doesn't quit. He doesn't quit. And when you have a crooked Supreme Court, conservative ones, let me be clear, a crooked conservative Supreme Court, 6 of them, then you have somebody helping you become a criminal. This is just madness to me, this whole thing. This time, election official, poll workers, and volunteers of Fulton County, who Donald Trump continues to disparage as he perpetrates his false claims that they stole the 2020 election. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clip, and then I'm going to talk about it on the other end. And it kind of explains what I feel that we as Americans, as voters, have to do, as well as what freaking Democrats should have been doing and need to do now. So I'm going to show you this clip, and then I'll see you on the other end.
I want to bring in Stuart Stevens, senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, chief strategist for Mitt Romney's 2012 campaign, and author of the book, It Was All a Lie. Eli Stokols is White House and Foreign Affairs correspondent for Politico, and Lisa Rubin is MS Now's senior legal reporter. Stuart, that testimony from Ruby Freeman was searing. It's something you can't get out of your head. And now the federal government is asking for names, residential and email addresses, phone numbers. If they get that, what's to stop the president or anyone else from using it to target these workers as Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss lived through?
Well, nothing's there to stop them. That's what they're going to do. That's why they're trying to do it. Look, this is another case where Republicans are to blame. And any Republican who doesn't think that Donald Trump lost the election in 2020, who was elected in that same election, should resign. It doesn't work this way. You don't have a ballot where like half the ballot is good and the other half isn't good. You know, I think the challenge for Democrats here is, those of us that believe in democracy, and I spent years pointing out flaws in the Democratic Party, but it's now the only pro-democracy party in America, is they do something outrageous like this. We go, no, you can't do this, but what is the offense? And I really think that's something that those of us who support democracy and largely going to be Democrats need to be thinking about. Because they go in, like Todd Glantz will go in and do this stuff, absolutely convinced that there'll be nothing that will come back that will haunt him. And I think that's dangerous. And I think there really needs to be a sense, in the same way lawyers are sometimes held responsible for filing false legal claims and are sanctioned. There needs to be a lot of thought about how to go on the offense against those who are doing this inside the government.
So yeah, that is the problem that we have now, is the Democrats have no fight in them. And this guy said it correctly. The Democrats have to step up because the Republicans feel that they can bully these guys around and they're not going to do anything because they're basing everything on old politics. As I keep saying, this is not your grandfather's politics. This is Trump's politics. And you have to fight dirty like he does. He's walking all over the Democrats. And all you get is some kind of speech here and there from Jeffries and from Booker and all these other people, and then it dies down. You need to be fighting 24/7 every day, twice on Sunday, because we're in a place now where all we can do is fight. If we don't fight, we're losing everything, Democrats. You have to start fighting. And you have to start fighting like the Republicans do. I'll give them credit for that because they will fight. But along with them fighting, they lie, cheat, and steal. That's what they do. And I'm not suggesting that the Democrats do that, but there are other alternatives to fight. That is why the Democratic Party has low numbers. Democratic voters don't trust you because you don't have fight in you. One thing I will say about Nancy Pelosi, she was a fighter. And you guys did not learn anything. Jeffries, you didn't learn anything from Nancy Pelosi. So all I can say is we have to depend on the Democrats, but we as independent journalists, independent media channels, we have to put this message out. And that's what I intend to do. Put this message out, and hopefully someone will hear all of us as independent media channels. So like and subscribe and help us, you and I, grow this channel together. And I appreciate all of your support, each and every one of you. And I'll see you guys up the road.